Hello there, good evening. You're watching Look North. Our top story tonight. Dripping ceilings, wet walls and health problems. The families struggling to live in damp and mouldy council houses in Yorkshire.
If you feel like it's getting on the chest, you've got to take them to the hospital because it can be something serious, because it is black mould in their bedroom. If the walls look that bad and that green, what do his lungs look like?
The Housing Ombudsman calls for change. Also tonight. As the NHS struggles with winter pressures, routine operations are being cancelled. We hear from one man whose long-awaited operation has been postponed. The glamorous grandma from North Yorkshire taking part in a new TV series showcasing the UK's best walks. And the January Daily Dippers are back. I take the plunge with a group of hardy Yorkshire fundraisers.
And the weather is in a very changeable mood. Some heavy rain for a time tonight, much brighter tomorrow. But what about the weekend? Join me to find out.
Hello, welcome to the programme. No parent wants to live in fear of their children's health, do they? But for some families in our region, that is the reality. Tonight on Look North, we're investigating the damp and mouldy council homes in Yorkshire and speaking to parents who say their homes aren't safe for their young children. The Housing Ombudsman has urged social housing landlords to renew their focus on tackling the problem. Our social affairs correspondent Emma Glasby has been to visit families in Leeds and Sheffield.
Water drips above a baby's cot. The 7-month-old is having to sleep in his parents' damp bedroom in a Moses basket rather than a wet cot. His 2-year-old brother sleeps here. His parents scrub the mould away, but it comes back.
When it rains, as you can see, it leaks in from somewhere all down the walls. Causes a lot of mould. There's actually a plug socket down there that we says we can't use anymore, it's that wet.
They've lived in this council flat in Leeds for 2.5 years and say they've had constant problems. With mould in every room, they're concerned about the impact on their health.
They keep getting coughs and coughs and coughs, and I'm the first person to take them to the doctors. And like he says, if you feel like it's getting on the chest, you've got to take them to the hospital because it can be something serious, because it is black mould in their bedroom. If the walls look that bad and that green, what do his lungs look like?
And it's not the children's fault either, but they don't have a choice but to stay here. They go wherever we put them. It's not their fault.
Leeds City Council has told us it's working to complete some repairs that were identified before Christmas and insists it's treating the repairs as a priority.
It looks like there's a leak coming in from somewhere again when it rains, causing a lot of mould up there, down on this wall, on that blue wall, and then on here it's wet to touch, all the paint's coming off. This wallpaper is not long been put up at all, a couple of months at the most. There's damp coming through, it's wet to touch, and it's just started peeling all the wallpaper away. We went and got a dehumidifier. We had it on for about 5 days solid, nothing changed. We have mould and mildew spray.
So strong that it burns your eyes, and even when you put that stuff on the walls, give it a week, it'll be back.
So I woke up to this morning.
Meanwhile, in Sheffield, we went to see another family in a leaking council home.
We woke up, we were in bed, and water started pouring down on us. This was not like this 3 days ago. We had a little blemish on the ceiling. Now we've got this. Every time it rains, we don't get it right away. It takes a while, and then it will just start pouring. So it's like water is coming in from outside somewhere. We don't come in here now because we're afraid that it's going to collapse on our heads.
The parents were sleeping on the sofa in the living room, but there was mould on it. They say since moving to the Wynn Gardens estate in 2019, they've been having to scrub away at mould in their children's bedrooms and all over the house.
When we get sick now, it's always straight to the chest. We're having a lot more breathing difficulties, especially my youngest daughter. I don't sleep at night and I can't continue living like this. It's been years of dealing with it, but it's all come to a head more recently with the bad weather and the mould just taking over the house. It's not safe, it's not good. Here we go again. Here we go again.
We contacted Sheffield City Council, who said after receiving a report of a water leak in December, it attended the property the same day.
It's going to be a night of watching the bucket.
Today they went back, and this afternoon the family was urgently moved into temporary accommodation so repairs can be carried out. Emma Glasby, BBC Look North.
I'm sure you agree no one should be living in those conditions. And in view of that news that they've temporarily been moved out, we got back in touch with Robert to see how he felt about that.
So we had more water coming in last night, and we've now had British Gas attend our property. Water was going directly into the box and then going down through the electrics. So basically, we've had our power shut off now by British Gas because it's the only safe thing to do. We'll be moving out later on today into what is currently the unknown. So we don't know where we're going. We don't know how long we'll be there. It's a weird feeling. We came here for stability and to be settled. And the list of problems just goes on.
Well, we'll keep in touch with Robert and Lee and Lewis in Leeds and let you know how they get on in the future. Next tonight, a man from Scarborough who was expecting to have an operation today to repair a hernia says he's been left absolutely gutted after it was cancelled. 71-year-old Matt Watkinson says he's had a constant pain and has some limits to what he does. The York and Scarborough Trust says it's dealing with unprecedented pressure and has taken the difficult decision to postpone some routine procedures. Our health correspondent Jamie Coulson reports.
I genuinely feel devastated. I'm not a guy who's prone to being upset. I keep a lot of stuff to myself, and it made me cry. I couldn't speak.
Matt Watkinson was expecting to undergo an operation today at Scarborough Hospital to repair a hernia after a previous surgery was unsuccessful. Yesterday, the 71-year-old received a call to say it had been cancelled.
To come to that point and think, I'm going in tomorrow, and I said to my wife, can't eat anything for my tea, can't eat anything after 7 o'clock, and of course all that went out the window, and I'm gutted.
Matt was originally referred for surgery 3 years ago, but due to his availability and the pandemic, was only placed on the hospital waiting list in December 2020. Having declined one opportunity since then due to being abroad, he's now been waiting 14 months for today's expected operation.
It's very uncomfortable. It's something that you're never sure is going to go to its worst extreme, really, because you can feel it's your bowel, it's protruding, it's pushing through.
The York and Scarborough Trust has apologised to Matt, but says the impact of the pandemic has meant patients needing routine procedures are waiting longer than they would like, even though they are working hard to address the backlog. They also say the current unprecedented demand on services means they've had to postpone some planned procedures for a few days.
When I talk about the NHS, I'm not just talking about a prized public service.
Yesterday, the Prime Minister made reducing NHS backlogs a key priority, while the government has said it is taking urgent action to support the NHS this winter with additional support and funding. These are difficult decisions for hospitals to make. Can you understand why they're having to do that?
Absolutely understand why they're having to make them, but it's not of their making in any way. Because I don't know when it's going to happen, I'm always going to be wandering around thinking, what's going to happen to me next inside? Am I going to have to pack up doing everything? Is it going to split and kill me?
The trust responsible for Scarborough Hospital has said Matt's operation will be rescheduled as soon as possible. For now, he's back on the waiting list. Jamie Coulson, BBC Look North.
We hope Matt gets sorted soon. Have you had an experience with the NHS recently? Have you faced long waits in A&E, difficulties being discharged into the community? Or, like Matt, has scheduled operations been cancelled? We'd like to hear your stories. You can email us at look.north@bbc.co.uk. You're watching Thursday's Look North. Still to come on tonight's programme. Anger from birdwatchers as hundreds of kittiwake nests have been removed from Scarborough's Spa Bridge. But before that, a Sheffield hospice says it's seen a boom in sales at its charity shops over the past 6 months. It's helping St Luke's Hospice raise the £7 million it needs each year to deliver end-of-life care. Tom Ingle can tell you more.
2 truckloads of goodwill arriving at the St Luke's Hospice Donation Centre. Everything that comes through here is sorted, checked and made ready for sale to raise essential funds.
Over the past 6 months, our sales have increased, and that could be because people are finding the value through our pre-loved items, but also through the cost of living, and people are hunting out those gems. It's really, really important income for St Luke's because we need to raise £7 million every year, so a big proportion of that comes through our shops.
Against the prevailing high street retail headwinds, business is so good, St Luke's is opening another store, taking its total across Sheffield from 13 to 14. But if the boom does come from people tightening belts, it's a double-edged sword. St Luke's costs are increasing too. Not only is there the 20-bed hospice itself to run, but a community care team.
As a charity, we rely a lot on funding and a lot of charity from the fantastic people of Sheffield. So obviously keeping as community team running, as beds open on the ward, we're needing lots of donations for us to provide us brilliant and fantastic care that we do to people of Sheffield.
For you and me, a donated item might be a bargain. For St Luke's, it's another step on the annual climb to £7 million. But for others, it means care and support, just when they need it the most. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Some news in brief for you now. Rail operator Northern Trains hasn't run any services today as strike action continues. Action by members of the RMT union caused disruption this week. Today, train drivers in the ASLEF union walked out in a long-running row over pay. The operator says most routes will be closed tomorrow and Saturday as strike action continues. A 16-year-old girl with a rare form of cancer is the first in the UK to take part in a new treatment at Leeds Children's Hospital. Dulcie from Telford, who's 6, has neuroblastoma. She was offered a trial in Leeds which involves using a newly developed antibody to encourage her immune system to attack the cancer. Doctors say they're pleased with Dulcie's response to the treatment. A litter of maned wolves have been born at Yorkshire Wildlife Park. The park says the birth of the 5 pups is part of the international breeding programme to secure the future of the species. It's the parents' first litter since arriving at the park a couple of years ago. Now, hundreds of kittiwake nests have been cleared from an important Scarborough breeding site, even though they're a protected species. North Yorkshire County Council have removed the nests from Scarborough Spa footbridge and put bird deterrents in place so the kittiwakes can't return. Conservationists say it's a tragedy for the already endangered birds. Carla Fowler has the story.
At this time of year, kittiwakes are to be found miles out to sea. But hundreds of pairs have been nesting here on Scarborough Spa footbridge every year for more than a decade. Numbers of kittiwakes in this country have roughly halved in the last 50 years. The species faces global extinction. But last month, North Yorkshire County Council removed every single nest here.
This bridge held 270 pairs of kittiwakes. The number of chicks raised each year has been double that of some of the study plots. So it's really important that we look after these birds. They're a conservation priority in the UK. Hence their red list status, so a really important colony.
The council also put thousands of bird deterrents known as fire gels all over the bridge. The ultraviolet light they emit looks like flames to the kittiwakes, stopping them from landing. Climate change, overfishing and pollution are all impacting the numbers in kittiwake colonies along the coast. This has become a significant site for 270 breeding pairs. But when they come back to their nests this year, they're going to find themselves homeless. North Yorkshire County Council say complaints from local residents and businesses prompted the action.
Ultimately, we can never be certain where the birds will relocate until we do this programme. But the point of the habitat regulations assessment that we did was to say if we did this, would this cause harm to the wider populace of the birds in terms of them not having anywhere suitable to locate. And the report that was independently commissioned concluded that wouldn't be the case because there was a number of alternative locations that were suitable for the birds.
It's just outrageous. They're not a pest. They're beautiful birds.
They're here for such a brief time and they don't do damage at all to the... I've looked at the ledges and they're not damaged at all.
I see them a lot around Scarborough and they're just fantastic animals that take the smallest of seafood for their food, and these lovely little fluff balls of chicks grow, and it's really disappointing that we're going to miss these this year.
Local bird groups and the County Council say they'll both be monitoring the situation. Carla Fowler, BBC Look North, Scarborough.
Next tonight, a 72-year-old model from North Yorkshire is swapping catwalks for cattle grids and stilettos for walking shoes as she takes part in a BBC Two series called Take a Hike. The series shows 5 local walkers picking out their favourite hike and explore some of Yorkshire's most scenic walks. Annie Stirk from Bradsby is a model by day, but she wanted to challenge the misconception of what later in life looks like and show that nothing is impossible. Let's take a look.
Every day this week, 5 complete strangers from the same part of the country will come together to showcase their favourite walks.
Oh, look, can you see why? I love it.
Oh, there we are. Oh, you get a hoot of the horn.
On iPlayer.
We were. Yeah, we had a feeling. Oh, it's so pretty, isn't it?
That is gorgeous. Well, I'm going to raise you some nuts.
Well, you saw her there. Here she is in the flesh. Annie, great to meet you. Now, trekking through the Yorkshire Dales doesn't look half as glamorous as the catwalk. Why did you want to take part in this show?
No, it's not, but it was just fantastic. It was just one of those opportunities that come your way, and it's a big challenge, and the biggest challenge I've ever done, I think.
And there were challenges each episode, weren't there? So it wasn't just nice meandering walks. You had to do some quite wild things. What was the scariest thing that you did?
Well, the scariest thing was probably the abseil. Because I'm not scared of heights, but it was... I'd never done anything like that before. But I think as well, the water, going in the water, I was really scared of doing it. But when I'd been in the sea, we went in the sea at Boggle Hole, and I came out and I just felt I'd have conquered the world. I just felt amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
Where was your favourite spot that you visited?
There was this place on Ilkley Moor called Poetry Corner. Never seen it before. And we'd been walking all day. It was a long walk. We got lost a couple of times. Thanks, Ilaria. and there was this poetry corner where you could sit, dedicated to the poet laureate, and you could sit and compose a little poem and post it in the post box. And it was just the most... It was just like a surreal but emotional moment, and it stuck with me as that.
And you, in your episode, which airs tomorrow night, you take the group to Flamborough.
Yeah.
Why did you choose there?
Well, we've got a long connection as a family with the Yorkshire coast. We've holidayed in Filey, and Bempton, there's not a lot to do there apart from just see the birds, but Flamborough is a bit special, and I think it gets overlooked as well, because we know about Filey, Scarborough, Whitby, Robinhood's Bay, all those, but Flamborough is a bit special. It's a bit spooky as well when the foghorn's going and and the mist swirling round, isn't it?
What do you hope people will get from watching this programme?
I think they'll be wowed by the scenery. The camera work and the drone work is just stupendous. The scenery is king, but also seeing us walking and seeing us doing things, doing daft things, just being a bit silly, and sharing their experiences and walking together. I think just encouraging people to get out into the gorgeous Yorkshire scenery and
trying a new challenge,
whatever age, and that's it. I hope it inspires everybody, you know, post-60, post-70 women and men, to just get out and have a go. If you're healthy and reasonably fit, just do what you can cope with and you'll have a great time.
Well, you've definitely inspired me, Annie. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Well, from one adventure to another. January is the time when most of us like to keep warm and cosy, don't we? But look at this lot. A group of experienced open water swimmers across Yorkshire enjoy nothing more than stripping down to the swimmers and submerging themselves in cold water every day for charity. Whew. The January Daily Dip is now in its 6th year and has raised more than £120,000 for Crisis UK. I reluctantly had a go.
I'm only putting layers on, not taking them off at this time of year. This is the hard bit.
Removing warm clothing and preparing for icy water. It's all new to me, but this is a daily routine Jill and Claire will repeat every day for the next month. Today it's a dip in the Blue Lagoon Lake near Darrington.
Me personally, when I go into the cold water, I feel awake, I feel alive. I can see everything around me really clearly. And it gives me, it's like a reset button. It really helps my mental health.
2013 I started swimming outdoors, but cold water swimming, this is my 3rd season.
But despite that, this is her first season doing the January Daily Dip.
You got some neoprene socks there, just to keep your toes a little bit warmer, keep your extremities a bit warmer. Going in today is going to be probably the hardest dip of the winter season so far, because at the Blue Lagoon today it's 5.4 degrees, so it's a big drop from what I'm used to, and I'll just stay in as long as my body will let me stay in.
There's always a lifeguard on duty at this lake, and swimmers must wear the right gear.
You don't have to wear a wetsuit. The only thing we ask of is wearing a tow float.
Yeah.
That just gives, it's a visibility thing more than anything. It gives us, it means we can see you, okay? You can also use it to hold on to, but it's not a safety device.
Amy, are you nervous?
I'm really nervous. I've got butterflies, but I've got the right kit. I have my guides. I've got my camera, so no more excuses. Let's just get on with it, shall we? The sooner we do it, the sooner we can be out.
Let's do this.
Off. Let's get in.
I'm thinking warm thoughts.
So you don't even feel like you're in the water because you've got the gloves on, you've got the socks on for the moment, though. Can you feel the water?
I can feel it. I can feel it.
I may be a first-timer, but across Yorkshire, in swimming lakes, paddling pools, even barrels, the number of January Daily Dippers has grown from just 3 to 25. All experienced cold water swimmers sharing their adventures, wearing nothing but bathers and a smile.
1, 2, 3. We've raised over £120,000. It is hard, depending on the wind and the rain and the weather around us, but it's very much a vigil throughout the month.
I felt the burn, then the tingle. I managed a whole 5 minutes.
Can't feel anything, but we did it.
For Jill and Claire, it's 5 dips down, 26 to go. I think once was enough for me.
What the best way to heat up is to just zip yourself in.
Over and out. My jaw's still cold.
I've got to. I can't say anything. I couldn't do that. I think that's actually brilliant. Unfortunately, she's had even more energy this afternoon.
Do you know what?
Has never stopped talking.
It revitalised me.
Oh.
I did feel amazing when I came out. Obviously, you have to keep really warm when you get out, but
Indeed.
I felt brilliant.
Absolutely fantastic.
We'll catch up with the January Dippers on their last day at the end of January. I can't guarantee I'll get back in with them, but we'll catch up with them, see how they did and how much they raised for Crisis UK.
OK, right. Let me show you a couple of pictures from across the region. Did you see that sunrise this morning? I saw that. That's Eccles Hill in Bradford. With a stunning one there, and that's a really nice sort of panoramic view of Whitby there. That
Should we
was
have a
taken
dip in
this
there,
morning.
Paul?
No, you can if you want. Let's have a look at the headline then for the next 24 hours. It does look as though it's going to stay unsettled. We've got a sharp spell of rain to come tonight. Might wake some of us up around midnight into the early hours of the morning, but it's out of the way and it leaves tomorrow looking dry and bright, with spells of sunshine, still a little on the breezy side. The next weather front brings rain on Saturday, Hopefully it clears in time for a bit of brightness Saturday afternoon. Then it's windy with sunshine and blustery showers for Sunday and for Monday. Now there's the satellite picture from this afternoon showing just how much cloud there was. There was some drizzle, of course, in places. There's that weather front, a short burst of potentially very heavy rain overnight, sort of late evening to the early hours of the morning. Some torrential bursts are possible, but it's another mild one, lows of 6 or 7 degrees. So tomorrow's high water times in Scarborough at 3:37, Bridlington at 4:06. So a lovely start, lots of blue sky right across the region, and it looks as though it will stay generally dry, lots of sunshine, a bit more cloud developing, 1 or 2 showers mainly for the Yorkshire Dales, but elsewhere it does stay fine and it remains bright through the afternoon. Despite the breeze, it shouldn't feel all that bad. 10 Celsius is above the early January average. 10 Celsius is 50 Fahrenheit. So that all-important weekend forecast, well, it is a cloudy day on Saturday. There'll be outbreaks of rain spreading from the west, clearing slowly through the afternoon. It leaves Sunday looking bright and breezy with sunshine and scattered showers, similar on Monday, but it's very unsettled throughout the whole of next week. That's the forecast.
Maybe this could be our year of new adventures. Try new things, Paul. What do you reckon?
Yeah, go on then. I'm not going in that lake, though.
31st of January.
Right.
I'll put your name down. Little dip. That's it from us. Good night.